In today's episode, I want to come and speak about dealing with desires. We've all heard that desires are the root of all suffering, and we also heard the law of attraction. You just gotta know what you want and it comes to you. So, which is it? Is it good to desire? Is it bad to desire? What if we desire and it doesn't happen? What if we desire and we don't get what we want? In working with clients, desire often seems to be an area of confusion, especially when we're trying to create visions for the future that are important if we want to create our lives consciously. I often witness a tendency to deny, shrink, or rationalize desires as too much of an idea, too out there, or there's not enough time. And what if the thing that I desire never happens? Maybe that's happened to me before. I've already tried. So there's all these things that can get in the way of actually allowing us to feel into our desires. The trick here is to acknowledge all of our desires. And remember that acknowledgement is not the same as taking action on desires, because obviously not all of our desires are true desires that come from our hearts and our souls. Some desires come from unconscious patterns, from our woundings, from our trauma, or simply from conditioning of our society. Some unconscious desires can arise as a way to mask true desires. For example, a desire for intimacy and love can can be masked by a desire for casual sex, for overeating or overachieving, or etc. This is why it is important to acknowledge, navigate, and discern our desires. A human needs desire to evolve, and it's not a human thing. It's a thing of nature. It's a thing of consciousness. Consciousness is forever seeking greater and greater intimacy and wholeness, and we are a part of that. Desire is something that we cannot avoid. It is a part of our nature, and wanting not to have desires is still a desire. It is attachment to the outcome of our desires that can bring suffering into our lives. When we desire something, we get energy moving through our system. And when we don't know how to handle that energy, it can feel like a void. It can feel like not having, it can feel like anxiety, the feeling of not being good enough, of not being there. It can bring up sabotaging behaviors, addictions, the need for immediate gratification to fill the void. But when we know how to handle that energy, we can use it as the energy that can help us come alive. If you scan the story of your life, you can see that the worst moments in our lives are not actually the ones where we are in heartbreak and suffering. Actually, the worst moments in a human experience is when we feel nothing, when we are void, when we don't care, when we are disconnected and numb. Rabbi Mark Gaffney, in his teachings of Kabbalistic Tantra, speaks about desire as the thing to desire. So, what if desire is the thing to desire? Because it makes us come alive, it gives us want, it makes us care and pay attention. With that said, not all desires require us to take action or see them through, because, well, not all desires are coming from the depth of us, from our hearts and our souls. So our work is to clarify which are the desires that will aid in consciousness expanding itself through us, the deep callings of our heart, the deep callings of our soul, and which are the desires that are based in old patterns, conditioning, or trauma. And then think about how we can move the energy of the desires that are not supporting us, that are not good for our expansion or optimal for our expansion, and how to give all our energy into the desires that are our true callings, and use them as the vehicles, that the channels of energy that can help us feel propelled by our purpose. How we approach desires has a huge impact in how we magnetize and allow ourselves to take the actions needed to see them through. The most important thing when it comes to desires is to acknowledge them, acknowledge all of them, from the the beautiful ones and the peace and love ones to the most outrageous and socially unaccepted ones. We give them voice, we give them a right to exist. And that alone helps us move the energy. We can write them, we can speak them out loud, we can ask the question, what do I want, again and again and again. And when you know, when you sense, when you have that knowing that you found a desire that is a true calling from your heart, you allow yourself to be there, to go inwards, to really see the entire picture and have the somatic experience of what it feels like to be in that, what I call memory of the future. And you allow yourself to expand on that memory and to gain information about what are the qualities present there. Who are you? How have you grown in that memory of the future? Can you allow yourself to feel how good it is to have it now, and allow yourself the experience of living it in the now, so that you understand how good it feels to have that, to be that embodiment, and get clear on who you have to become, who you get to become, and the qualities that you get to express. Desire is the feminine, right? It's the longing. Everything in nature needs an involution in order for there to be an evolution. The feminine energy is the energy that propels, is the energy that invites. So when you think about having a desire, allow yourself to know that just in feeling it becomes like the vacuum that's calling it through, especially if you allow yourself to know what that feels like in your system. So when working with desires, I want you to pay attention to who you are in the greatest expression of your desire manifested. What are the qualities that are present, and allow yourself to be them now. And allow yourself to prepare for its arrival, right? There's a difference of the feeling of desire when it's a want, when it's just like an uncomfortable want of I don't have it, and it's there and it's so far from me, and it's not in my presence. And the other is the kind of desire that it's like when you're with your partner and you, oh my god, you could feel how good it is already, and you're desiring, and you're just like the energy of anticipation. So work with your desires as the energy of anticipation. Allow yourself to indulge in the feeling of it being there now, in embodying the qualities of that greater ideal in your life, and to know that it is going to show up in better ways that you can possibly imagine, and to get prepared for it, prepare your life for it, prepare your skills for it, your environment, your foundations. Like, who do you have to be, how ready do you have to get to receive that? Have the experience of knowing without a doubt that it's coming to you, and delight in the anticipation and the joy of knowing that it's coming your way. Allow yourself to be free to have it now. To have it now. We relax when we get what we desire. And our work, our possibility here, working creatively, consciously, is to relax, right? As if we already had what we desire, right? So what signal does my relaxations, my experience of already having that gives to the world is a resonance, right? I attune myself with the vibration of that desire as not something I want and I'm seeking, but something I am. I vibrate as it. A great desire for me is to be able to support children in need, and help them create foundations for their life, and feel the power of creating consciously since they're little. Right? So I get ready with thinking about who do I have to be as that woman, right, that supports children, and I allow myself to delight in knowing that my work and my contribution and how I pour my message out into the world is serving that vision, and I'm being it now. So I align myself with that desire, and I use it as the energy that is teaching me how to be, right, with certainty that I'm on my way there. I hope this has been useful. I hope that you can learn to use the energy of desire as your teacher, as the energy that propels you forward, instead of using it as an energy that keeps you feeling like you don't have, because you do have whatever it is that you can allow yourself to feel into. Have an amazing week. Take care. See you next week.